Alright, here's the testing seed installation video as described in this first step of the testing project. So first off, we're talking a little bit about what a seed is. So after making a bunch of projects, they start to get a little bit repetitive. There's a lot of setup that you just have to do every single time. So seeds are projects where they've already got the beginnings all set up for you. Just makes it really easy to get started. So we've made one for you to make testing easier. So that's at this URL right here. And you'll notice that, so if you get lost, all the directions you need are here in this README that you can see. Also gives you a little bit of advice. Now, in order to use the seed in your own GitHub account, you're going to want to fork it. So the way you do that is just going up to this right-hand corner, and you click on fork. And then it creates a whole new project in my account that has the exact same name. Now we're not going to want to keep the same name because we want this to be named after our actual project, not after the name of the seed. So you go to settings, and then you can actually change the name. Now what do we want it to be? Date valid or TDD? All right. Alright, so now we have our new repo. That's on our account, and it shows that originally came from Ben's account over here. So now we're going to want to clone this. So click on clone, copy this. Now I've already got my Visual Studio terminal all set up for where I want it to be. So we start git clone. Boom. Alright, so let's go into that. Alright, so I'm opening up a new Visual Studio window that's open to specifically this project. So this is how your project should start out. So we've got our source folder that's going to have the code that we're actually going to write for this project. And notice how it's started off with just one function built in called add. You're not actually going to want to keep this in there, but you know, also in this test folder, there's some tests specifically for that function. Now we're going to end up writing our own tests for our own functions that we write. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about NPM. So NPM stands for Node Package Manager. So as the name might suggest, it actually comes built in with Node. And what it is it's a collection of software that you can download from the internet and just start using in your application. So there's all sorts of open source software and libraries that people have already made that'll make it a lot easier for you to get stuff done. On actual production projects, by and large, the vast majority of the code used will actually be from these packages that you're just downloading and borrowing. It's a little interesting that my terminal isn't going. Okay, so be it. I guess I'm going to have to use my own terminal. Let's move this guy down. Alright, so now you get to watch me navigate through my terminal. What's this called? What's in here? Alright. And then we're going to want to go to developer TDD. Alright. So you'll notice that in the source code that we've already got here, we've got this package.json. So what this is it's actually a file that's just for NPM, which is going to tell it a few things, but specifically one thing that's going to be really useful is that it tells it down here what the dependencies are, or what the software is that we want to borrow from the cloud. So when I say npm install will actually go over here and look at each of these dependencies, and then will actually install it for me. Alright, so you see this node modules folder that just started up here? So that is where all the dependencies that I have showed up. Notice there are a lot of different folders in here besides just the 4 that I asked for, and that's because each of these projects has its own dependencies that also need to be installed. And thankfully NPM takes care of all that for you. Alright, so we've now installed that. Now all we have to do, you'll notice up here there's also inside scripts a test script. And Microsoft is happy enough to tell me that I can actually run this script by saying npm test. Now, what doing that will do is actually start my tests in such a way that anytime I change my code, it will run the tests again. So npm test. Alright, so it's firing everything up. Alright, so just letting you know that's connected. Alright, so it looks like my one test that I have here passed. Expected 2 plus 3 to be 5. Now let's say I write a bad test. Let's actually change that here. Alright, a plus b plus 5. Okay, so it looks like it actually expects me to have that browser open. Lesson learned. Alright, so it looks like we failed that test. Let's go change my code again. Alright, looks like we still failed because we have that bad test in there. Save that. Alright, it's passing again. So the nice thing is every time we change our code, it will go back and it will run your test for you automatically. Alright, so again, if you forget about any of this, you can find all the steps just right here inside the README on now your repo as well as Ben's.